Welcome. Today's lesson is on overview on foreign direct investment in developing countries. The outline will discuss an historical overview of the development of foreign direct investment and the drivers of foreign direct investment and the joint venture option. The historical overview. At earlier stages of international expansion, multinationals used to set up operations abroad through wholly owned subsidiaries. The corporate, the headquarter, was used to establish a subsidiary, a new company, wholly owned and operating in foreign countries. Later, joint ventures came into wide use as a new form of foreign direct investment, especially in developing countries. And foreign investors started to search for local partners for different reasons. First of all, because local partners could help foreign investors to solve problems inherent local regulatory environment. So it was much better to cooperate with local partners in order to solve problems with the institutional and the regulatory framework. The second reason to look for a partnership with local companies is that partnership with local organizations strengthened the foreign investor's image. The foreign company was perceived as a friend, we could say, because it operated together with a local company. Also, host country government considered the joint ventures an effective way to back the development of their country. So local government, host country governments, were in favor of partnership, backed partnership between local companies and foreign multinationals because they thought that this partnership could help the development of local economy, also the economic but also the social development. And host country government usually favored the joint venture option. Also, in some countries, local entrepreneurs were eager to cooperate with the foreign investors to upgrade their knowledge and their technical skills. Local entrepreneurs understood that by cooperating with foreign companies, they could have developed their knowledge, their capabilities, and their image also at international level. Since 80s of last century, the attitudes of developing countries' local government to foreign direct investment changed substantially. The previous restrictive positions gave way to increasingly liberalized policies. And this happened for many reasons. So, in the past, local governments favored joint ventures, as we said, accepted that foreign multinationals entered in local market, in their markets, only or mostly through partnership with local partners. But this attitude changed more or less 30, 35 years ago. And local governments started to be in favor also to foreign direct investments and started to accept foreign investors in the country, also if these investors wanted to enter by themselves, not by partnership with local companies. And this happened for many reasons. First of all, the pressure of multinational and the bilateral trade agreements. Second of all, the conditions imposed by international financial institutions. Also, the other hand, by developing countries' government to the idea that foreign direct investment could have a positive contribution to economic growth, and also the increasing presence of small and medium-sized companies among foreign investors. This last point is quite interesting because the foreign investors were not only huge multinationals, but more and more medium-sized or even small-sized companies started to invest abroad, so started to be a kind of a multinational. And of course, the impact of these investors in the local economic development was usually quite good. In recent years, other realities in the field of international business operations and foreign direct investment have come to light. An increasing number of large multinationals from developing countries appeared. So while in the past multinationals basically came from Western Europe, United States and Japan, in recent years we have more and more multinationals which were born in developing countries or in emerging countries. These multinationals reached market leadership in their home country's market, and in many cases the home country's market was quite huge. Of course, this is the case of multinationals which were born in China or in India or in Brazil. And the fact that they started to develop in their home market gave this multinational a big opportunity to reach economies of scale, to increase the level of productivity, and so to develop competitive advantage. After the first phase of development focused on their home market, this multinational started to grow globally, so started to enter also in other regional markets, and in many cases in Europe, in United States. And we have some interesting cases like Haier in the appliances business industry, Submiller in beer and beverages, Huawei in telecommunication industry, Chemex in the cement manufacturing and delivery. These are names, brands which are not well known, still not well known in Europe, but that are getting the first positions in their industries at global level, at international level. Second point, small and medium-sized multinational enterprises. An increasing number of small and medium-sized enterprises have become multinational. This is a second very important point, very important characteristics of the present development in international business. Not only huge multinationals, but also small or medium-sized companies that become multinational, that invest abroad, so not only sell abroad, so not only export in foreign markets, but also that invest in foreign market, establish new subsidiaries or develop partnership, joint ventures with local producers. And there are some reasons that explain this phenomena. First of all, the participation in global value chains of large multinationals. As we said, multinational organize, huge multinationals organize production through global value chain and through global network, and quite often medium or small companies are part of these global networks, and of course by being part of global networks they become international, they become used to invest also abroad. A second reason is the increasing pressure of competition in home markets, and in some cases also the saturation of home markets. So medium and small companies didn't have alternatives to go global, to become global, because by remaining focused only on their local market, they couldn't have developed, and probably they would have had big problems. And the third reason is the development of market niches in global market niche. So small companies are quite often focused in market niches. These market niches have become global market niches, and so of course this has been a great opportunity for small companies to become a global company. The increasing role of private equity as investors, both in developed and developing countries, and also the shift to service sectors. So the increasing role of private equity, the financial side, private equity as investors, both in developed and developing countries. Private equity is an effective vehicle for the upgrading of local companies. Private equities helped local medium-sized companies to make big investment, to become global, to invest at international level. And companies participated by private equity funds benefit also from strategic advice and access to international network of management talent and potential partners. So private equities not only financed the international development of medium-sized companies, but they also helped medium-sized companies to become part of global network, to develop new relations with international partners in many countries, also countries which are far from the original country. And also helped joint ventures, helped medium-sized companies to find managerial competencies all over the world that, of course, were required in order to manage the business at international level. The shift to service sectors. This is a general, very important trend in industrialized countries, which we have to say still remain the main source of foreign direct investment. The liberalization of many relevant services industries, such as telecommunication, financial services, transportations, all these helped the international investments. Service firms wishing to compete in foreign market needed to invest directly there. It's much rarer to export services, and so if you want to develop and to sell service at international level, you need to invest in the foreign country. And the development of telecommunication and internet has allowed industrialized countries' companies to relocate some of their activities to developing countries. We have some data which I think are quite interesting to understand the phenomenon of foreign direct investment. We can see, for example, in 1982, the value at current prices of foreign direct investment inflows was $58 billion, while 25 years after, in 2008, the value was 1,697 billions of dollars. The stock of foreign direct invest inward increased from 790 billions of dollars in 1982 to 14,000, almost 15,000 billions of dollars in 2008. So you see, it's a huge increase of the stock of foreign direct investments, but also the flows of investments each year. Of course, between 2008 and 2009, the flows of foreign direct investments were much lower because of the financial crisis, and we still don't have data about 2010, but they are expected in an increase in terms of inflows. It's also very interesting the data about the exports of foreign affiliates. Exports increased again from 635 billions of dollars in 1982 to 69, almost 70,000 billions of dollars in 2008. This means that foreign subsidiaries not only produced and, of course, entered in foreign markets, but also from that country, from the country where that subsidiaries were located, they started to sell in other countries. And so a certain amount of global exports were done by foreign affiliates. The employment of foreign affiliates in terms of millions of people, you see in 2008, more than 77 million of employment of foreign affiliates. So the effect of foreign direct investment on employment is very relevant. And cross-border merger and acquisitions also increased, and so we understand that a relevant part of foreign direct investments are realized through merger and acquisition, through cross-border merger and acquisitions. It's also interesting to see foreign direct inflows by regions and selected countries. The role of developed economies is very important, but we can see from this data that also the relevance of developing economies has been increasing during these last years. We can see that in 2000, I mean, the annual average for the period 1995-2000 in developing economies was 188 billions of dollars. In 2004 was 290 billions of dollars, and 2007 564, and so on. So the relevance of developing economies has been increasing, and especially Asia and China. Number of greenfield projects. Also, the number of greenfield projects has been increasing. You see at world level, the number was less than 10,000 projects in 2003. In 2008, we had more than 16,000 new greenfield projects. So we have to distinguish between foreign direct investments through M&A and through greenfields, so new investment, new projects. Most part of these projects were from developed economies, but also here we can see that the relevance of developing economies has been increasing a lot. In 2003, the number of greenfield projects in developing economies was 4,513. In 2008, it was 7,595. And again, Asia and China had a very relevant role. So we can have some key messages. Investments to developing and transition economies surged during these last years. Even in 2009, foreign direct investment flows to all regions will suffer from a decline. In 2010, even if we don't have definite data, we know that the investments to developing and transition economies kept on increasing a lot. Greenfield investments were more resilient to the crisis. So in between 2008 and 2009, greenfield investments declined less than merger and acquisitions. There was a marked downturn in foreign direct investment by private equity funds, partially balanced by sovereign wealth funds investment. And this is quite obvious because the crisis in 2008-2009 was basically a financial crisis. In 2010, the role of private equity started to increase, to be more relevant again. It's interesting to say that foreign direct investment flows in agriculture production tripled to about $3 billion annually between 1990 and 2007. This kind of trend has been driven by growing demand of food in emerging markets, land, water shortage, growing demand for biofuel production. So it's very important because in Western countries the the number of companies in agricultural production has been decreasing, while at international level, global investment in agricultural production has been increasing a lot. So now we can discuss drivers of foreign direct investment and the joint venture option. A general idea: local governments compete heavily to attract foreign investments because, as we said at the beginning of the lesson, foreign investments can have very relevant, very positive effect on the economic and social development of the local economies. Can have, of course. So they need to be managed by local governments, by local stakeholders, but it's a huge potential, especially because considering that also local companies try to invest abroad, so try to become international. The investment decisions of foreign companies are influenced by various motives. Access to natural resources, access to knowledge, access to markets, and access to low cost of labor and low cost of other relevant inputs. So these are the four basic reasons, the four basic drivers to invest abroad. Access of natural resources was the key reason in the past. Now it is more and more relevant, the access to knowledge and, of course, access to markets, while the access to low-cost inputs and especially low-cost labor was one very relevant reason for Western countries, companies to invest, for example, in Asia in the past, especially in the 90s and the beginning of this century, while now it seems to be more relevant, the access to markets and the access to knowledge. According to Dunning, who is a very relevant economist in international business area, four main motives prompt firms to undertake foreign direct investments. Dunning talks about market seeking, foreign direct investment, natural resource seeking, foreign direct investment, efficiency or cost saving seeking, foreign direct investment, and asset seeking, foreign direct investment. So investors, according to Dunning, investors are seeking for new markets, for natural resources, for opportunities to increase efficiency or cost saving, and for develop new assets and new knowledge. There are different alternatives to manufacturing operations abroad. The multinationals have different ownership options for its foreign operations. The first option is licensing versus foreign direct investment. So the multinational has to understand if it's better to go abroad through licensing or foreign direct investment. And so it is relevant to understand when licensing is to be preferred. And usually licensing is to be preferred when risk of foreign investment, of direct foreign investment is high, maybe because of country risks. When the know-how has to be, the company's know-how has to be protected, and when the control over international operations is not so relevant. Or of course, licensing is a better solution when the company has limited resources to invest abroad. On the other side, foreign direct investment is preferred when the company wants a direct control of foreign operations, so wants to be very much rooted in the foreign country, in the foreign market, or when know-how cannot be protected. If the company chooses a foreign direct investment option, it has to choose between a new kind of option, wholly owned subsidiary versus joint venture. The advantages of wholly owned subsidiaries is, first of all, the opportunity to keep a tight control of its technology and managerial know-how. And of course, it is easier to integrate the new subsidiary's operation into a coordinated global strategy. It's the idea of developing an internal global network. The advantages of joint ventures. The advantage of joint ventures, of course, the reduction of the amount of investment and the reduction of risks, better relations with local stakeholders, the opportunity to meet requirements of local governments regarding the presence of foreign companies, and many benefit from local partner knowledge. If the company chooses wholly owned subsidiary, it has a further option, acquisition versus greenfield investment. So the company can buy a local company, can merge with a local, or can merge with a local company, or can develop a completely new plant, make what is called a greenfield investment. The advantages of acquisition: faster implementation, of course, and faster entrance in the market. Acquisition, I mean, it takes time to find a good company to merge with or to buy that can be bought, but after the acquisition is concluded, usually it's faster to start producing, and of course it's very fast enter in the local market. The advantages of a greenfield: operations can be tailored to the intended alternative. There are usually lesser problems of integrations with the headquarters and other subsidiaries, and there are lesser organizational problems, because of course in acquisition or mergers, it's necessary to integrate a new organization which has its own history, its own culture, and the people of that organizations might not accept the new condition, while in the greenfield a completely new organization is developed, and usually managers from headquarters are help the new business, the new subsidiary to develop and to maintain close relations with the headquarters and with other subsidiary of the same network. There are, of course, some uncertainties, some issues that are not clear. First of all, the level of investment. The level of investment. Generally, a merger is costlier than a greenfield. because of course the buyer has to pay for intangible assets, intangible value of the local company that is bought. In developing countries, it can be the opposite. So it can happen that the greenfield investment is costlier because there might be a lot of environmental costs. And also another uncertainty is the effect on the local industrial system. So from the point of view of the local government, local stakeholders, it's not easy to understand if it's better a foreign investment in the form of greenfield or in the form of a merger or an acquisition. Because of course the greenfield means a new investment, new employment, the development of the industrial, local industrial system. On the other side, when a local company is a part of a global network, has huge opportunities to develop, and there are a lot of spin-offs that can help other local companies to improve, to increase the level of their knowledge. So there can be also good effects from merger and acquisitions. Generally speaking, local governments tend to prefer greenfield investments. Thank you. Welcome. Today's lesson is about the joint ventures as a framework for cooperation and development. So we start focusing joint venture as a way to become international. The outline, possible departures and motives, and benefits for host country, benefits from joint ventures. Possible departures and motives. Joint ventures formation has to be preceded by a careful preparation. So an analytical work including opportunity studies and feasibility assessment. So it's not easy to create a joint venture. I mean, a joint venture that has good opportunities to be successful. Takes quite a lot of time in some analytical work for opportunity studies and feasibility assessment. The process leading to a joint venture can start in different ways. And it's interesting to understand how this process starts because, of course, it has consequences on the characteristics of the joint venture itself and the probability that the joint venture can be successful. So the initiative can come from a local company. The initiative can come from a foreign company. The initiative can come from public institutions in the host country, or the initiative can come from public institutions in the foreign company's home country, or the joint venture can derive from existing alliances. So now I think it's quite interesting to understand why these different actors, the local company, the foreign company, the public institutions in the local country or in the foreign country can take initiatives to develop joint ventures. Of course, in the case of public institutions, they take initiatives to help private companies to develop joint ventures. So in the case of the initiative can come from a local company. Why a local company should be interested in developing an international joint venture, a joint venture with a foreign company? First of all, because the local company wants to introduce a new or technologically improved range of products into its markets. So the local company understands that a foreign company can help, can be useful to introduce more advanced products into the local market. Or the local company can modernize its manufacturing technologies thanks to the joint venture. Again, of course, a joint venture with a more advanced firm. The local company may improve its technological and or managerial capabilities thanks to the joint venture with a more advanced company. Or the joint venture can be useful, it can be a good way, an effective way to enter global network, an effective way for a local company to enter in the global network. From the point of view of a foreign company, so why joint venture? Why look for a joint venture with a local company? So the foreign company can be interested in setting up manufacturing operations abroad, and of course it may want to lower the financial investment or lower the risks to enter in the foreign country through a wholly owned subsidiary. Again, the foreign company can try to develop a joint venture in order to enter foreign markets through local distributors. So the local company usually plays the role of local distributors. Foreign company can benefit from locational advantages, for example, the low cost of labor, thanks to the joint venture. Avoid establishing wholly owned subsidiaries, as we said before, so reducing the risks, the country risks, and develop knowledge about the foreign country. So joint venture is a phase of the global development that is useful because it helps the foreign company to understand the characteristics of the foreign environment, the institutional conditions, the characteristics of the markets, of the community, and so on. The initiative, we said, initiative can come from public institutions also. Public institutions may be interested in helping companies to develop joint ventures. And the public institutions in the host country are usually very much interested in the development of joint ventures between local companies and foreign companies because they consider these joint ventures an opportunity to strengthen local entrepreneurs' opportunities to develop an international attitude, an international culture, international managerial capabilities. Also maintain a certain degree of control of foreign operations in the host country, because the joint venture, the host country's institutions can control the local company which is a part of the joint venture, and so through the local company which is part of the joint venture, the local institutions can have a certain degree of control of on foreign companies' operations. Also, joint ventures between local companies and foreign companies can help to start or to develop a domestic industry, or to improve the quality of the offer for the domestic market. From the point of view of public institutions in the foreign company's home country, joint ventures are a good way to strengthen domestic companies' internationalization process. So public institutions can help local companies to become internationalized, to strengthen their presence in foreign countries through joint ventures. And also, so it can be also an implementation of international agreement with emerging countries' government. So government in developed countries may have international agreement with governments in developing countries finalized to help emerging countries to develop their economies through joint ventures. We also said that joint ventures can derive from existing alliances. And this is because in the internationalization process, firms usually prefer to move stepwise, so minimizing risks, especially in emerging countries or developing countries where usually the country risk is usually quite high. They usually want to maximize learning, and so they need to establish cooperations with local companies, with local institutions, and joint venture is clearly a good way to establish this kind of cooperation. And they want to maximize international networking because, of course, the partners in a joint venture can be also partner for other kind of activities, for other kind of alliances. So the decision for a joint venture may result from previous cooperation and trust established between the parties. So it's very important to focus this principle. In the internationalization process, firms prefer to move stepwise, especially medium-sized companies, especially companies that don't have a lot of financial resources. They want to move stepwise, and joint venture is a good way to develop, to increase international experience, international relations that can be useful for further way to internationalize. So we can say that exporting is at the beginning, is the simpler way to go abroad, and also it's the way with lower risk. After exporting, a company can choose licensing or can choose contract manufacturing. And these two ways of internationalization provide for confidence building. I mean, confidence in foreign markets, of course. And after that, the company can try to develop kind of joint venture, international joint venture, which requires a long-term commitment. And also joint ventures can be a phase for developing relations, for developing knowledge, for developing an image, a good reputation in the foreign country, and so create good conditions for further investments in that market. The formation of a joint venture requires a package of inputs to achieve the envisaged objectives. So it's very important to understand which are these inputs which are usually required by a good joint venture. Capital and land, buildings and equipment, technical know-how, licenses, technological licenses, manufacturing skills, basically. So it's important to understand if the partners together can provide the joint ventures with this package of inputs. In the formation of a joint venture involving foreign investors and domestic companies, the inputs expected from each partner can be represented in a typical way. So foreign partners' inputs. Usually the foreign partner is a manufacturer of leading products with advanced innovative capabilities. Usually the foreign partner is well established in its domestic market and eventually in other foreign markets. So it has a good marketing experience. It has also a strong brands, and maybe an international strong brands. And of course, the foreign partner is willing to expand operations overseas for different reasons. We said it can be a market seeking or resource seeking according to Dunning, or also asset seekings or low-cost seekings. So foreign partners' input can usually be technology, managerial and production competencies, productive capacity, specific knowledge, and research and development capability. This is especially true when the foreign partner is located in a developed country, when the foreign partner is a very well-established company, very strong, so it has developed a relevant technology, it has relevant competencies, managerial and production. It has a productive capacity and maybe also specific knowledge and research and development capability. Usually, these kind of resources are very relevant for local companies which have not these resources. Domestic partners' expectations are acquisition of technology, introduction of new products, access to improvements, productivity, factor of competitiveness, access to international markets, and managerial competencies. So domestic partners expect to develop this kind of resources of advantages thanks to the joint ventures. Local partners' inputs. The domestic company is expected to be well established in the host country and to have good relations with local markets. So it is very important that the domestic company basically has a strong it must be strongly rooted in its environment, its economic, but also institutional environment, so it can assure the joint venture to be well accepted by local institutions and first of all by local government, and that has very effective relations with the market, with the local markets. So also the domestic company is expected to have solid knowledge of the institutional and regulatory mechanisms and to be seeking opportunities to upgrade, expand, or diversify its business. So it's very important that the domestic company